Hello everyone. I would like to present my research study topic, which is HIV pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, uptake related knowledge, shame, and stigma within the Houston men who have sex with men community (MSM). So why is it important for us to pay a special attention to this particular topic? According to CDC, an estimated 1.2 million individuals are currently living with HIV. Most of them are gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men. Particularly in Houston, the HIV epidemic has remained consistent and leads the state of Texas over the last decades with around 28,000 individuals who are living with HIV. Even these individuals only consist of 2% of our nation's population. They do hold accountability for on the new HIV cases. Therefore, it's imperative to provide HIV care, prevention, and treatment for these individuals without any stigmatization and discrimination, including to increase awareness of the daily pill pre-exposure prophylaxis. Throughout my research process, I noticed that there are a plethora of literature covering HIV stigma, but only a few of PrEP uptake related stigma and shame. So I would like to briefly talk about my literature review, including these following topics. First off, it would be the introduction to PrEP, then the condomless anal intercourse, the disparities in the use of PrEP among minority, homophobia surrounding PrEP uptake, PrEP knowledge, stigma, and shame, and the theoretical framework that I use. Pre-exposure prophylaxis PrEP, or its manufacturer name Truvada. PrEP is approved by FDA since 2012. However, the PrEP use and awareness still limited due to the negative attitude towards the PrEP uptake, given that the presumable sexual behavior of the individual taking it is being misjudged as a way to promote irresponsible sexual acts or promiscuity. Condomless anal intercourse. People tend to blame PrEP as a party drug and is only for the slutty people. This even makes it harder for PrEP users to enjoy the benefit of the medication and to be blamed for frequently engaged in reckless sexual behaviors. Disparity in use of PrEP among minority. Research has shown that among PrEP users, African American and Latino MSM are using the least. That's why it is important to understand the racial disparities within the context of social stigma and psychological barriers that reducing PrEP uptake for HIV prevention among these individuals. Homophobia surrounding PrEP uptake. So why will homophobia impact PrEP uptake? It is said that African American MSM may be a down low when they secret engage in homosexual behaviors while being with straight women. Gay and bisexual teens are also more prone to suffer from stigmatization. Health educators need to focus on this to address cross cultural training and culturally sensitive approaches to HIV intervention. PrEP, knowledge, stigma, and shame. I would like to compare different literatures from different researchers who conclude their study and agree together the fact that potential PrEP users may be labeled as promiscuous, irresponsible, or troubadours, ironically among gay and bisexual themselves. This may be stopping more of them from taking the medication. Research gap. Research gap is a research problem which has not been answered appropriately or at all in a given field of study. My field of PrEP stigma has been underemphasized as well as there is currently no research in the peer-reviewed literature that explore health belief model constructs among MSM with PrEP uptake. I do believe that PrEP related stigma can serve as a barrier to developing knowledge and about PrEP uptake and fail the potential advantage of biological prevention. We need more research in this particular issues. Research question. The first one is what relationship exists, if any, between items such as age, education, and number of sexual partner, and level of PrEP use related shame and stigma? The second one is how do PrEP use shame and stigma related to numbers of sexual partners and HIV history? The last one is does PrEP related use and stigma have higher predictive value in determining HIV testing within the past 12 months? Hypothesis. There's five testable hypotheses as following. Hypothesis 1. Higher knowledge of using PrEP is associated with lower level of PrEP use related shame and stigma. Hypothesis 2. Higher level of PrEP related use, shame, and stigma are associated with lower willingness to disclose an HIV infection. Hypothesis 3. Higher knowledge of PrEP use is associated with higher willingness to disclose an HIV infection. Hypothesis 4. Higher PrEP use, shame, and stigma is associated with condomless use in the most recent act of intercourse. Hypothesis 5. Higher PrEP use, shame, and stigma is associated with condom use in the most recent act of intercourse. Methodology, theoretical framework. I utilized Earnshaw and Caldor mode of HIV stigma to explain my PrEP stigma, retaining much of what was in the original HIV-centric model. The PrEP-centric model now focuses on the consequences of both PrEP uptake and shame and stigma. Among the non-PrEP user, mechanisms such as prejudice, stereotypes, discrimination, current sexual practice, behaviors, and knowledge could result in social distancing from those know or perceive to use PrEP, an avoidance of HIV screening due to generalized stigma, and a relative lack of support for HIV screening and treatment validity. I also use health belief model to explore how PrEP use can influence survey participant perceptions of PrEP stereotypes associated with stigma, shame, and knowledge. I am doing a mixed method research study. Sample size of 383 participants recruited from LGBT venues such as LGBT centers, local gay bars. The surveys will last from 15 to 20 minutes. I will provide compensation as a free HIV testing voucher. My research will be funded by AIDS Foundation's Houston. Of course, I will submit for season IRB for approval. Collections process continue. Men who are 18 or above are required at the time of recruitment because I want to look for opinions on stigmatizations among gay or bisexual male themselves. I will utilize an open-ended and closed-ended survey through standardized questionnaires using Qualtrics, a web-based tool for creating and conducting online surveys. Phase 1, Survey Validation. First of all, I will establish phase validity. The surveys will undergo review by an infectious disease expert to determine their success in at capturing appropriate information. Pilot test is to demonstrate strength or weakness of the survey items. A random focus group of 10 people representing the target demographic population taking the survey and discussing survey items with researchers while notes are recorded. Here are an example of my open-ended questionnaires and closed-ended survey, the way we want to conduct a method study. Data collection and analysis. A purpose sampling will be conducted where then will be analyzed by SPSS. The researcher's role is to enter data into SPSS statistics software. Demographic variables including age, gender, and participant characteristics will be stratified and coded. By varied analysis using chi-square and fixture extract tests where appropriate for dichotomous variables and t-tests for continuous variables will be used to access factors associated with PrEP uptake related stigma and shame, such as demographic, gender, sexuality, and sexual history. Statistical analysis will be performed on SPSS using logistic regressions with 95% confidence intervals for each odds ratio. Statistical significant for the logistics regression will be defined as p less than 0.05. Here are my references. Thank you.